Hello, this is Eileen, the environmental educator, and there's more good news out there. Right here, 90% of Great Lakes water samples have unsafe microplastic levels. And this is August 17th, 2023 article. This right here, garbage patches in our backyard, surprising microplastics contaminated in freshwater lakes and reservoirs. And this was July 12th, 2023. So there we are, our love of plastics. And right here it says a study published in Nature involved the analysis of surface waters from 38 lakes and reservoirs, revealing microplastics presence in all samples. An international team of researchers has discovered that the concentration of plastic in freshwater environments, such as lakes and reservoirs, are higher than those found in the ocean garbage patches. So that's good news, especially because they say here that the main contributing factor is human interaction. Of course, because who is using all of these plastics? So right here, a researcher from the University of Kansas said they found microplastics in every lake they sampled. Some of these lakes you think of as clear, beautiful vacation spots, but we discovered such places to be perfect examples of the link between plastic and humans. And what these researchers did was they went out tolling a net with tiny holes in it, dragging it for about 2 minutes, and collecting those samples of microplastics. And they say that their research shows that the more humans, the more plastics. You know, places that had relatively low microplastics are because there's, many animals and trees and not a lot of humans, relative to somewhere like Lake Tahoe, where people are living all around it. Yeah, Lake Tahoe, a beautiful, beautiful crystal clear lake, but is polluted with microplastics. Yeah, right here, and it says some of these lakes, like Lake Tahoe, seemingly pristine and beautiful, yet the microplastics are everywhere. They say they can come from innocuous, just as someone wearing a t-shirt that has microplastic fibers on it, and they just come off, but it's everything. It's everything. It's runoff. It's the plastics that you are using at the beaches and, out on boats, and everything that gets dumped into these lakes. And right here it says you don't see a huge garbage patch in Lake Tahoe, yet it's one of the most impacted lakes when it comes to microplastics. You can't see them with a naked eye, but under a microscope at 40,000 times, you see these jagged pieces and other particles. So they're the same size as algae or even smaller. So there is just microplastics everywhere. We're not getting away from it. They say the biggest takeaway from the study is that microplastics can be found in all lakes. Obviously, there are different concentrations, but they are literally everywhere. And the biggest contributing factor to these microplastics is human interaction with the lakes. And this article, talks about the Great Lakes because, they have unsafe microplastic levels. Right here, about 90% of water samples taken over the last 10 years from the Great Lakes contain microplastic levels that are unsafe for wildlife. And about 20% of those samples are at the highest level of risk. But don't worry, because the study's authors say the damage can be reversed if the U.S. and Canada act quickly. So, we can count on that reversal to just start happening. And the Great Lakes provides drinking water to over 40 million people in the U.S. and Canada. So all those people drinking all these microplastics, which is a video I did. I think this was back in April 2022, but humans consume a credit card worth of plastic weekly. Right? You're eating plastics. You're drinking plastics. These 40 million people that drink from the Great Lakes and other freshwater lakes all over the country are drinking all of this microplastic. Even down at the bottom here, it says, the fish that is caught out of these lakes that human consume, and a lot of breweries make beer from water out of the lakes. So that beer too is loaded with microplastics that humans are consuming. Right here it says another common source of the pollution is from microfibers that come off clothing and washing machines. And I did a video recently. I think it said that every time you wash a fleece, 2,000, it was a really large number. I believe it was 2,000 pieces of microplastic, microfibers come off of that fleece in every washing. So that's another part of all of the contamination. Right here. And they noted concerning levels of microplastics have been found in sport fish consumed by humans and beer brewed with Great Lakes water. So there you go, people. As you're eating up your plastics, don't forget to wash it down with some Great Lakes water, whether it's just water or it's beer or soft drinks, whatever else they're making with that water. So this is basically summed up with them saying, we know we are being exposed, but what that means in terms of harm or what's a safe level, we have no idea. That's going to take more research. Okay. So one thing they do say is that solutions like adding filters to washing machines or storm sewers at manufacturing sites exist and are relatively easy to implement. And so even though it says that it's simple, this is a simple problem to solve so long as the U.S. Canada do something. It says right here, the Canadian and U.S. government have known about microplastic levels for at least 10 years. But it can take some time for regulators to act. Okay. And the new paper highlights the situation's urgency. Oh, well, if they treat it in the urgent manner, they, treat climate change, what they say is climate change, and we can certainly be expecting results very fast. But, right here, if we ended our disposable society and if we utilized hemp back since November 93, when the environmental educator tried to get actual real solutions implemented, this wouldn't be a problem. It absolutely wouldn't be. And who's been preventing this since 98? Oh, that would be Bobby Kennedy. Mr. I'm running on truth. Mr. I'm environmental. Mr. will not tell you that truth. And Bobby Kennedy still will not lead the hemp revolution or end your disposable society, which are essential to anything sustainable, any environmental future. But why won't Bobby do it? Well, he'd be exposing himself, all of his associates, his prior employer, the NRDC organizations he started, all of his environmental friends, whether they're in government, whether they're environmental organizations, whether they're in Hollywood, including his sister Rory. Okay, not even Bobby Kennedy will do this. So we keep consuming and keep polluting our freshwater sources unnecessarily. So stay tuned, people.